Hi, my name is Reggie Stewart, and it's been a few weeks maybe since I posted my last video, but I am back. I haven't completely given up on this project of having a YouTube channel and posting some content that I feel is meaningful both to myself and to some others that share some of my interests and passions and business interests specifically. So where I left off last time was the top 10 reasons to be an auto repair technician. And a little bit about me and why that's important to me is I own auto repair shops. I own three of them. One of them specializes in European vehicles, and the other two are general repair shops. So we work on any vehicles that a consumer has that are out of warranty. So we're a mechanic shop, basically. And it's a huge industry. It's something that we are a crucial part of society. Everybody in the United States, not everybody has a car, but a large majority of people have cars, especially when you get out into, I'm in the Indianapolis area, and there's not a lot of walkable stuff. We don't have much in the way of public transit, so having a vehicle is your pass to get to school and work and play and all the things that you want to do. So this video is simply the 10 reasons you should not be an automotive technician, which is contrary to what I believe in some ways, but we also have to think about things objectively, right? There's a job for every person, a person for every job. And while we as an industry need more technicians and mechanics to come into our industry, we really do. Like, we have a massive shortage, and I know it's not just auto repair, right? It's plumbing, it's electricians, it's a lot of the trades are struggling to find talent right now. And auto repair is no different. And in fact, I would say as a shop owner, it is the number one challenge in running a successful auto repair shop is finding qualified technicians that can do the job right and want to do the job right and can stick with us. So part of my mission is to educate whoever wants to listen on what it's like to work in the auto repair industry. And one of those things is knowing whether or not you should pursue a career as an automotive technician. Again, we need thousands of people to join us, but we need them to join us for the right reason and not under any false pretenses. So here's my top 10 list of reasons you might not want to become an auto repair technician or mechanic. So in my first video of top 10 reasons you should, I talked a lot about, first of all, those top 10 things, I'm trying not to make this just opposites. I think that would be a really easy way to post this video. I'm trying to make this a little more diverse, but I am going to start with money. I think I started with money on the last video. Thing is, it can be a very lucrative career. Right now, because of supply and demand, automotive technicians that are qualified and have experience can make a very, very good living. Living into the six figures in much of the country. Some in the high six figures. Like there's guys in this country that are really making good money, doing great work, and taking great care of people that have vehicular needs. But that does not happen day one. You don't go through trade school and come out of trade school and sign up to have a $100,000 job. That's not there, and it's not there not because the opportunities don't exist and the budgets don't exist. It's because right out of trade school, very, very, very few technicians are ready to be technicians. You're still, most of the time, somewhat of an apprentice level because of the hands-on experience that's necessary to be really good at this craft. You have to see enough things to have enough experience to know, especially on the higher level things like diagnostics. I mean, we can do brakes, we can replace suspension components, we can do a lot of things right out of school. But really knowing how to do everything right, or knowing how to have a large quantity of things that you can do right, and doing the higher level things like diagnosing check engine lights right the first time, making sure that we're testing parts instead of replacing parts to save the customer money, things of that nature. That takes 3 to 5 years. And it's 3 to 5 years is what I would tell you is going to be your ramp up time on an average to go from a a moderately good paying entry-level job to being able to really make a great living, where you're supporting an entire family. The other piece of that equation to be a, a really good paying job is honestly how driven you are and how fast you move. This doesn't mean running around the shop like a crazy person, but it means figuring out how to stack your day efficiently and working with your team in the store that you work in to stack your day efficiently. Because at the end of the day, whether you're on flat rate or salary or hourly, your compensation ultimately is 9 times out of 10 going to be built on how much work you can complete in, whether that's a day, a week, a month, a year. You know, in my shop, we work on a salary, and it's based on what technicians are capable of producing over the course of a year, but it's still what they're capable of producing. So guys that are hungry and move fast and efficiently typically will be able to earn more than somebody who's not very motivated. And then of course, skill set and overall diverse abilities follows that. So one reason you may not want to join this industry is if you need to make a lot of money right out of the gate. Along with money is investing in tools. I don't think that the general public knows how much money an average mechanic has invested in their tools and their toolbox. This is you know, a subject I covered a little bit on the first video, in that a lot of us, myself included, just enjoy collecting tools. We like them. That it's a luxury item to some extent, and arguably even a status symbol from technician to technician. Right or wrong, it is what it is. But you don't have to have $100,000 worth of tools on day one, but you do have to be dedicated to continually investing in your tool selection. And on day one, you have to have some level of hand tool, depending on where you go to work. I'm working on a program in my business where, in fact, we have one apprentice that we've given her a toolbox on day one and said, this will be yours after 2 years of an apprenticeship. And that toolbox has virtually everything she needs in it to do the work that we're asking her to do right now. And her mentor, our shop foreman, can fill in the blanks. If she needs a more unique tool that's not in that basic set, he'll loan that to her. And it gives her time to figure out exactly what she needs. Your tool selection becomes your signature as an automotive technician. But if you just want to show up to work and not have to buy any tools, auto repair is going to be tough. There's probably a few organizations out there that provide absolutely everything, but that is definitely not common. And it's not common for us to be encouraged to do that, because so many technicians in the culture thus far want to have their own tools for a variety of reasons. One of those reasons, so reason number 2 is upfront cost of buying tools. I'm going to jump to reason number 3 is going to be kind of in line with that. And it's going to be the difficulty of moving jobs. Something to consider if you become an automotive technician or a mechanic is, say you're working for me at the Noble Mechanic and you're like, man, this place is, I don't like it. Either somebody down the street's offering me more money, or they have better hours, or whatever the reason is that you decide to move down the street. You're 8 years into it and you have what we call the taco wagon. You have a big 3-bay Snap-on toolbox. You know, the box itself is $20,000 and all the tools in it are another $80,000. You've got $100,000 worth of tools there. And they weigh a lot, and you can't put them in the back of your Prius or even your pickup truck to take them to the next shop. It is commonplace now to have a rollback wrecker come and pick that up, but it is another thing to think about. So the difficulty of moving jobs, it's a commitment. You can't go try another job and come right back real easy. So the difficulty in changing jobs is what I'm going to call obstacle number 3 as to why you might not want to be an auto repair technician. Number 4, again, I guess I am playing off of that first video. I'm trying not to, but some of these are very parallel. It is hard on your body. And especially hard on your body if you don't take care of your body. I believe that it can be good for you, because sitting at a desk in a cubicle 8 to 10 to 12 hours a day is not healthy. It may not wear your joints out and it may not make your feet hurt, but it is not healthy. I think that's been proven over and over again. I'm not a doctor, but do your own research. At any rate, moving around is good for you. I'm actually in my personal life focusing on moving around more so that I can be more healthy, because I'm not a mechanic anymore and I'm not on my feet 12 hours a day. But if you are a mechanic and you eat junk food, you don't stretch, you don't prepare your body for what you're doing, you don't wear good shoes, it can be really, really hard on you. So investing in good shoes, investing in, one of the things we do at our shops is we invest both in a Red Wing shoe program so you can get good quality boots, and in a anti-fatigue mat to go by your toolbox. So those are things that we try to do to help technicians take a little bit better care of their body and their joints and such, but the whole floor isn't covered in anti-fatigue mats. It just isn't. So being wary of that and taking care of your body is really, really helpful. Also thinking forward, how long do you want to do this job? If you want to work the same job, which very few people do anymore, from out of trade school until retirement, and you want to retire at, say age 62, and there are plenty of technicians that do this, and they do it in a healthy way. Some people's bodies age different than others for all kinds of reasons. But some people, they get into their, even as young as 30s and 40s in some cases, 50s in other cases, and their body starts to get, things start to hurt. Maybe you're not lifting right, or maybe you're not strength training after hours so that some of this stuff isn't so hard on your body. Or maybe on the weekends you just sit. Maybe you need to be hiking and doing activities on the weekend. Whatever it is, you got to figure out the formula that works for you, but the business can be very hard on your body. I have had really bad foot pain in the past, but I also ate like garbage and I was overweight. And now that I'm losing weight, my feet don't hurt so bad. So take that too. So, but then your other options are, how long am I going to do it? Maybe I can retire early. Maybe if I really work hard and hit it hard, I can save some of the money that I'm making and invest that in however I want to invest it, whether it's maybe it's my own shop down the road. That's a whole different video. Maybe it's just into all kinds of other investments that grow while you're working. Maybe it's into a side hustle or some other business, and you say at age 50, it's like, man, I don't need to turn wrenches anymore because I'm going to do this. The other thing, the big thing I would encourage you to think about is whether or not you want to lead people or sell. If you want to do one of those two things and your personality lends itself to that, you can work as a technician and enjoy the fruits of your labor of helping people by fixing their cars, by working with your hands, if that's an itch you have to scratch like a lot of us do, and building the tool collection, whatever it may be. You can do that for a period of time while you develop the skills to be a leader or a salesperson, and then you already know the automotive industry and automotive repair, and that allows you to transition into a shop foreman. Some shop foremen still work on cars, some don't. It can transition into a service advisor position, which financially is not necessarily a upgrade or downgrade. There's a lot of times that can be a lateral move if you're really good at both positions, or really bad at both positions. Or you can become even a store manager or a store owner. In fact, right now I have 2 management people in my organization that started out as technicians. It can be a great transition, but you have to be a leader of people, not just a fixer of cars. So again, a good reason not to get into our industry is if you're afraid that you're going to tear up your body. Along those lines, reason number 5 also has to do with your physical health, but it's more of a yes or no question, or a you're out of a job real quick question, is injury. And you don't have to get injured on the job. If you, whatever your job is, if you depend on your body every day of the week to do your work and earn your living, you have to really be cognizant of the fact that your body is your paycheck. This is where sitting at a cubicle, if you break your arm and you're sitting at a cubicle, you can most likely show up to work the next day and still do your job. Turning a wrench, being a mechanic, working on cars, that's not the case. You're done. You break a leg, you go out and go water skiing or snow skiing, and you break a leg, you're going to be out of work for 6 to 8 months probably. That's a big deal for most people. Now, we as an organization do have short-term and long-term disability, and I would definitely urge you to find a business that has that or invest in it for yourself, but it still doesn't pay what you make on a daily basis. I think ours pays a large percentage of your weekly pay, but not 100%. So you have to have savings and have to be prepared if the worst case scenario happens. And I've seen it happen. I've had a technician break a collarbone and not work for 6 or 8 weeks. And that was very tough for him. It was when I was really small and didn't have any disability insurance. So keep that in mind. Reason number 5 is you have to depend on your body, and you can't be injured on the job or off the job. Otherwise, you got a lot of time off without pay. Maybe a fairly obvious reason that you may not want to be an automotive mechanic or technician is you get dirty. It is not a clean job. Our shops are very clean. Like, we have epoxy floors in 2 of our 3 shops. We have floor scrubbers in all 3. We have a process for making sure that the shop stays clean, so it's not your dirty, dingy hole in the wall that you think about when you watch a movie or some of the visual depictions of an auto mechanic shop these days. It is a very clean place, but there's no doubt cars make dirt. Oil is dirty. There's no car that doesn't leak a little bit of something. You're changing dirty oil. You're changing gaskets from the engine and getting oil all over the place. Tires are filthy. Brakes create all kinds of filthy, nasty dust that you don't want to breathe. There is a lot of dirt to deal with in the auto repair industry. So if you want like pristine hands that aren't beat up and dirt under your nails on the weekends, this may not be the career for you. Reason number 6 is if you just want to go to school and learn a trade and be done, this job's not for you. This is a job where you will be learning for the rest of your life, much like I would say most careers, but there are some, I suspect there's careers out there where once you learn 90% of what you need to know, you can use that 90% for your entire career. Maybe not as much in today's society, the way things move, but cars and automobiles are moving just as fast as computers and other levels of technology, if not faster in some cases. So making sure that you are getting into a career where you know that what you learn today may be obsolete 6 months from now or a year from now, you've got to accept that. So if you are against change and continual learning, don't become an automotive repair technician. Quick example of that is, back in the 1980s when cars started transitioning from carburetors to fuel injections, there were mechanics and technicians that said, I don't want to mess with that computer stuff. Carburetors work great. I'm only going to work on carburetors. And those guys, now of course if you have a carbureted car, you need to find that guy, but he doesn't have a large volume of work. And a lot of those guys went out of business or just they certainly didn't grow in their business. So continual learning. Reason number 7 to consider not being an automotive technician is potentially the hours. The hours are, in some people's argument, really good. It's in my shops, it's a 8 to 5 job. It's banker's hours, some will say. So it's if you want to work like a normal routine schedule of 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. with an hour lunch break, there's a lot of auto repair jobs for you. If you want to work from home, that's not going to work. That's a deal breaker. There are no work from home opportunities in auto repair right now. There's a few in the service advising side And eventually there might be in some of the computer diagnostic side. But if you're going to be considered an automotive technician today, there's no work from home. There's very little second or third shift. There are some weekends if you like that. If you want to work weekends, you can seek that out. A lot of us in our shops choose not to work weekends because it's so hard to find technicians to start with. But have that conversation with employers. If you're like, you know what, I prefer Tuesdays and Wednesdays off, I'm sure somebody would want to hire you because you're kind of an anomaly, and there's certainly cars that break on Saturdays and Sundays. But if you want super flexible hours, work from home, come in when you want, leave when you want, that is not automotive repair, and I would say that would be a deal breaker and a reason not to become an automotive technician. Reason number 9 is it's frustrating when people can't or won't fix their car right. And I don't know which one's more frustrating. Won't is more frustrating. Won't is when somebody has the money, we tell them what their car needs, and they decide based on their priorities that loose ball joint's not important. When we bring a car in for an oil change, we're going to inspect the car. We're going to check it out all the way around to make sure that it's going to be safe and reliable. And then we're going to advise you as a client, a car owner, as to, hey, while we were changing your oil, we noticed that your brake pads, they're down to 5 millimeters. They have plenty of time left in them, but maybe next oil change that's going to need to happen. But your shocks are leaking. You have this ball joint that's loose, and then as a service advisor, we can advise you as to what is the most critical and what is the least critical based on our experience, our technician's experience, and what's going to keep the car going down the road safely. And it is, most of us that do the work on cars want to make every car perfect, or at least really, really nice. We don't like a car coming into our bay that has bad parts on it, leaving with bad parts. It's a sense of pride for a really good technician to make sure, we are there to take care of these cars, which thereby takes care of our customer. But we can't make you do the work, and we will never make you do the work, and we're never going to lie to you. But what we are going to do is give you the honest truth. And at this point with technology, we take pictures, we take videos, and try to educate clients the best we can. But it is inevitable that somebody is not going to want to fix their car or not going to have the finances to fix their car. In that case, it's a letdown for the technician. Because we just want to win. We want to win by fixing that car and making it reliable for you. If you don't have the money, that stinks, and that's its own problem, and we don't have any control over that, and you may not have any control over that at this given time. Hopefully maybe the shop has some financing options, or within the next short period of time you can figure that out. On the other hand, if you're just like, no, I need to buy the new iPhone, those ball joints and brakes that are down to 2 millimeters aren't that important to me right now, that's frustrating. In Indiana, we don't have safety inspections, so I can't keep you from taking that car out on the road. But what I know is that there's a higher likelihood that you're going to have a failure that's going to put you or my family in a safety risk, and I don't like that. So that's a frustrating part about being a mechanic or a technician in an auto repair shop, is you have no control over what the customers can and will fix. So a reason not to become a technician is not having control over making the decision on what gets fixed and what doesn't get fixed. That's left to the customer. Percent sure. Number 10, I think I'm on number 10. The number 10 reason you do not want to be an auto repair technician is if you want to do the same job every day. If you want to just show up every day and kind of already have your day lined up and know what it is that you're going to do, this job's not for you. Yes, you're going to work on cars every day, but what are you going to be doing? Are you going to be doing computer diagnostics and staying clean? Are you going to be doing interior work and contorting yourself into a pretzel? Are you going to be doing brake job after brake job after brake job and getting filthy dirty and standing on your feet all day? Are you going to be hunched over a big diesel truck and again, kind of contorted. What is it you're going to be doing every day? In most shops, you don't know. Maybe in some dealerships, that if you're in a dealership that has a recall, you get a lot of repetitive work, but it's definitely not a factory job. It's definitely not a, in the general repair world, you don't even know what kind of car you're going to be working on every day for the most part. Yes, we have specialty shops. You know, I have a shop that works only on European cars, but that's still a big gamut. You know, it's everything from a Volkswagen Beetle to a Range Rover. So you've got little cars and big cars and Mini Coopers. So it's a great job if you want variety. It is a terrible job if you want repetitive jobs that you just do over and over and over again. So those are my top 10 reasons. Top 10 reasons you don't want to be an automotive mechanic. If you have any, whether you've been a mechanic or have thought about it, you have any, post some in the comments. I'd be curious to read some more. It's really hard for me to do this list because I like working on cars. I enjoyed being a mechanic. As a shop owner, I don't have a time to be one in a professional way anymore. But I think it's an absolutely awesome profession, a great way to make a living, but it is certainly not for everybody. So what will I do next on my videos? I don't know. Again, I would look for suggestions. I have some ideas. Maybe I'll do it next week, and maybe I'll do it in a month. We'll see how my schedule works out and where my inspiration falls. But I definitely thank you for watching, and I'll be around.